Hey everybody, it's Jeremy Lockhorn from the Forays. I'm here in Austin for South by Southwest 2025. Very excited to be here. I've got some of my friends from Edelman, and we're going to talk a little bit about what they're seeing at the show. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves real quick?
Awesome. Hey guys, I'm Noel Christopher. I lead our product team here, developing our internal IP around trust and AI. So excited to be here.
Howdy, friends. My name is Andrew Dawson, formerly Brandwatch Social Intelligence, but now I'm at Edelman helping run our more out-of-the-box adapted solutions, how we're working with teams to find custom solutions, pairing different partners together, and really solving some of the hardest problems in communications.
Awesome. So why are you guys here? What excites you about coming to Austin for South by Southwest?
Yeah, I mean, we're here to definitely take advantage of, actionable insights, really awesome talks, and also seeing some of the latest and greatest AI technology. Obviously, this track definitely leans into that, and so and we've been doing a little bit of custom research as well, which I think is pretty exciting. Andrew, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, what's really exciting about this is this is the moment for AI. This is kind of like its big, shiny moment in the world. 2 years ago, we had this big debut of OpenAI. Since then, 80,000 different companies in the space really taking over and taking attention. But what is it doing for us? What is the ROI? You're seeing it on every panel, you're seeing the application, and it's going to give communicators, advertisers, and marketers here material to walk away with. From the Edelman standpoint, we kind of rose to the occasion and we took it a step further. We took out-of-the-box AI systems that we work with and that we have great partnerships with, we work with every day, and we supplanted it with our own data that we're bringing in from our trusted data lake to build insights every single day. We were talking about this earlier, but some of the things that the South by programming, I'm sorry y'all, and conventional media are talking about are the big talking points aren't there, right? We're seeing very interesting emerging talk tracks. We're seeing transportation and AI. We're seeing Bluey, for God's sakes, taking over.
I know, right?
Yeah.
People love Bluey. It is a fanfare here at South by, for sure.
But it's all about the branding,
you heard it here
right?
first.
Yeah, you heard it here
exactly.
first. But it's the branding behind it, and it's really taking the conversation by storm, and it's being able to pick out of conversation clusters, because if you have a choice of 10,000 different panels, 50,000 different activations, where do you go and why? You have to really track that using AI clustering.
Yeah. Awesome. In terms of how you guys are thinking about rolling out AI across Edelman, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we really want people to get immersed in AI across Edelman.
Yeah.
So we're bringing teams in, doing very, immersion-led, hands-on training sessions, getting people to really test out the tools, ask the questions. We want everybody at our team to be AI and data literate, and that's what it's really all about.
Yeah, and it's all about transformation, honestly. I think that there's this idea a long time ago when you're thinking about the rolling out of things like Expensify years ago, it's like, oh, here's a training video, go watch it. Now we really believe that being on the ground, being really client first, being team first to understand their ins and outs, there's no one size fits all solution. So what we want to do is we want to think about what is the thing that works for 80 to 90% of the teams, and then that's when we work with Noel and myself to say, what's the other 10%? How can we customize different approaches, customize different solutions?
Right. How can we elevate our work to the next level, leveraging this technology as well, and really pulling out more actionable insights every day?
Yeah, it requires hands-on engagement, really, to really understand the power of the tools.
It really does.
And it kind of feels to me like agencies in general, marketing communications agencies in general, need to walk two paths at the same time when it comes to AI. You've got to figure out what it means from an efficiency and productivity perspective, right? And what does that mean from a business model perspective, right? And then there's also, what does it unlock from stuff that we've never been able to do before?
Jared, can I add one more thing though? I think it's really important. The first 0.01 before you get started, how are we going to use it in a literate way? I think the thing that is the most important, and I'm so excited that's taking over South by, is AI governance, right? Just because we can doesn't mean we should. And there are 80,000 tools, as I mentioned, out there, and we put out a landmark report looking at a number of them, and we only looked at about 100 or 252, right? Yes. The whole idea being there, you have to be enterprise ready before we can even have a conversation with you. There's a lot of tools out there, I'm sure I'd love to play with, but they're not safe, they don't protect our clients, they don't protect our teams, and they don't honor the data that sometimes we take for granted in our users.
Yeah.
So that's that third part before we even kind of start crawling that I think is so critical in the way we move forward.
We really want to get it right, and we're the trust makers at Edelman. So at the end of the day, people come to us because they know that we're going to do the right thing.
And how we train that incredulous curiosity, as I started thinking about it, into our team members. You have to have these people who are super curious, manifest destiny, just forging in the great unknown. But you also have to say hey, am I going to get dysentery going to Oregon, right? It's a great path, and I see where it's going, and I want to be there. But when I see a report come back, prompting them with things like, double check your work. Can you go through in here and look at this? Like,
Right. Cite your examples always
Exactly.
and often.
Yeah.
Read all the data, interpret all the data.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
these guardrails are so critical.
Yeah, that balance of like exploration and efficiency is a really tricky one to walk.
Yeah.
Right, and the hallucinations, like trying to eliminate those or reduce those, I think is, a worthwhile goal for the models. But like, it is like if you're also trying to use it for a creative purpose, like.
But this is
Is
why
that-
you always still need a human in the loop,
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
and I think that's where our real opportunity lies, right? So you think about what has AI empowered into that step. I like to think about it as kind of like awkward hourglass that we've been turning over for the last 20 years, which was that we moved from the industry. It used to be this idea where it was like 100% advisory, right? You think about the 1990s where like we were going in and telling people stories and it was all gut. And then we got data, right? And that changed that.
Yeah.
So what happened is the hourglass shifted heavily towards data. So I'm spending 70% of my time doing like heavily administrative tasks, pulling data, logging into different tools,
Right.
moving around.
Making sure you have all the coverage necessary for the client, right?
Precisely.
Yeah.
What AI does is it flips that hourglass and says, hey, now 70% of your time can be spent on advisory because we are going to work with you to automate that. That's going to make the recommendations we make more powerful because of the subject matter expertise we're able to bring to the table and apply to the insights
Yep.
to work through those hallucination moments.
Yeah.
And it also allows us to take our proprietary IP, right? It's 25 years of the trust barometer at Edelman. And so leveraging all of that data, all of our historical knowledge and those insights to really power the future state of Edelman, which I also think is so exciting.
Yeah. Very cool. The best quote that I've heard that summarizes exactly what you guys were both saying is sort of AI automates the grunt work and liberates the great work.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
It's like, and I had this conversation with someone yesterday. I said, what AI is going to do for video, for example, is what GarageBand did for music.
Yeah.
Right. The idea is like no one could make music at home. No one could think about audio at home. And all of a sudden, Apple was like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put a recording studio on everyone's laptop and see where that goes.
And on your phone now.
On your phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you have this birth of music. Like I like to think that like Billie Eilish wouldn't be around if there wasn't this ability to like record at home and get your music done and things like that. So
Right.
what AI is doing now is saying like, hold my beer. Right,
Yeah.
let's take that to video now. Let's take that to creative. Let's take that to ideation because we're not only unlocking the physical plugs, but we are encompassing a corpus of ideation that was completely unimaginable 6 months ago.
Right. Yeah. 100%. All right. I have two more questions for you guys. So the first one is, this show is crazy. Like, there's a ton going on. There's all kinds of innovation happening. It's impossible to keep up with everything. Like, how do you guys think about filtering the noise, right, from the hype? And like, is there a process that you guys go through that makes sense of that?
That's a really good point. So I like to think about it like you're looking at it, it's an amazing conference, right? I think we were just talking about this because this is our 9-year friend anniversary. We've been coming here for years and years.
Awesome.
We met here years and years and years ago.
wow. Cool.
Yeah, and we've been working together kind of ever since. And seeing all of that change, it turns into this idea where you say to your friends, hey, I'm going to South by Southwest. Like, oh yeah, it's a party. I'm like, no. Like, look past it. And so what we did is we built this proprietary AI system that takes in all of the earned media, all the social media, all of the traditional media, all of those items, and the first thing it does is it filters out that noise. I don't want to hear about parties, right? I don't want to hear about pop-ups, right? What I want to hear about is at the pop-up, what are they showing, right? And clustering around that intelligence.
And what, from an experiential level, is really getting the buzz on the ground and getting to those events as soon as possible.
Right,
Yeah.
and what's driving trust for brands? Because
Of course.
that's the most important thing. Like we always ask the ROI question, right? The data can tell you that now, right? Because it can lead that story and see how not only did the media react, which could sometimes be a bloated signal, but how did consumers react in that moment and tracking that around? So we built a system that allows us to, we are publishing insights every single day that people can follow along with, kind of see what people are talking about vis-a-vis all of those items.
Yeah. That's awesome. So it's an AI filtering mechanism that helps you prioritize
Yeah.
based on social conversations primarily, it sounds
Yeah.
like. Yeah.
So-
All right, so here's my last question, and it's the hardest one, right?
Okay.
This is the crystal ball question.
All right.
If we were to repeat this interview in 2 years here at South by Southwest, what will have changed? Particularly from sort of a media and advertising and marketing ecosystem perspective.
I would say, this event continues to evolve.
Yeah.
Having been here, as Andrew said, over the past 10 years, I think it's always surprising to see how it sheds a different light, gets a new skin every single year. I think what I'll be excited to see is those creators that are really leaning into AI and leveraging it for that next level creative, that next level experiential piece. Really excited. We were just at the Dubai event and seeing,
cool.
the visual experience that they were able to bring into that event. I think it's going to be that plus 10 times the value. So
Nice.
really excited for that.
Yeah,
I think
very
there's
cool.
two things we're going to see that are really significant.
Yeah.
The first, to Noel's point, is the major unlock that this does for creativity. It turns Austin less of a convention center and more than a walking gallery that you can experience brands. And it's going to allow people to personify their brands in ways that it used to be very the step and repeat. You'd be like, oh, who wants to have the Ferris wheel? Who
Right.
wants
Or
to
the
have
bar
the bar
takeover.
takeover? This is like really creative exploration. And I think the second thing we're going to be talking about in 2 years is that we are finally going to answer the question, so what? Right, I think that is the most significant piece. Right now, like I said, we are at the case study stage where we are democratizing the power of AI to all of these great tools and companies and what they're capable of. But in 2 years, we're going to walk away and go, all right, you are the new era of case studies. The people who are hearing things today will be case studying that.
Yeah. And hopefully it's also making it more accessible to people as well.
100%.
Yeah, it feels like the last, call it 18, 24 months have been about experimentation, and now we're finally moving into kind of like real world use cases
Yes.
for a lot of these technologies,
Yeah.
especially AI.
100%.
Awesome. Well, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks so much, guys. I'm around all week. More video interviews to come, so stay tuned.
Awesome. Well,
Hey,
thank you so
absolutely.
much.
Thanks, guys.
So
I really
great to
appreciate
meet
you guys doing
Yeah.
this. Yeah. Take care.